Welcome to Everything Commanders with your host, Dream Team Buddha. Hail to the Commander. What's good, Commanders family? This your boy, Dream Team Buddha, coming back to you with another episode of Everything Commanders. Listen, we are getting closer and closer to the NFL Draft 2025. Right now, the NFL Combine is currently taking place. The running backs, the wide receivers, and the quarterbacks are going through their drills today. As we get closer to the NFL Draft, you will begin to see more NFL analysts, NFL draft analysts, give their predictions on who the Commanders will take at pick number 29. With that being said, Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks just dropped their mock draft 2.0, which have the Commanders taking two other prospects at pick number 29. Before we get into this video, if you could do me a kind favor and hit that subscribe button, help this channel grow, I would greatly appreciate it. I have a goal that I set to get to 1,000 subscribers before the NFL draft. If you're willing to help, I appreciate the help. It don't cost you nothing. All you gotta do is hit that subscribe button. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all. And let's get into this video. All right, so first up, let's talk about my guy, the draft guru, Daniel Jeremiah. All right, in his mock draft 1.0, he had us taking the offensive tackle out of Ohio State, Josh Simmons. So now that his mock draft 2.0 has just dropped, he has made new predictions that the Washington Commanders at pick number 29 will take the linebacker from Alabama, Jihad Campbell. Now, we all just seen his combine drills and his 40 time and what he did. He ran a 4.52 in the combine. That's pretty good for a linebacker. And I know, at pick 29, with the needs that the Commanders have, a linebacker may not be, the first choice to get. Much people would rather us to get an edge rusher. Hell, I would rather us get an edge rusher at pick number 29. All right, so let's get into Jihad Campbell's draft profile. All right, as you can see, the kid come from Alabama. 6'3", 235 pounds, the ideal size for a linebacker / pass rusher. I think he's more of a linebacker than he is a pass rusher. However, I think that in the right system, he can actually, be a weapon to be used as far as the pass rusher, like we do with Frankie Louvu. I think he could be another one of those type players. All right, so all in all, he's a pretty good linebacker that if he was to slide to us, I wouldn't mind us picking him at 29. However, there's other prospects that I would rather us get depending on who's left on the board. So let's take a look into Jihad Campbell's overview. Campbell has the build and the traits of an Alabama linebacker, but might need to upgrade in some areas. He doesn't play with early instincts or play recognition, and is inconsistent in challenging blockers and leveraging his run fits. Campbell uses his speed and athleticism to help migrate mistakes and to get to the football at a relatively high rate. He's rangy, he's consistent, and open field tackler who excels on third down and a fluid blitzer and impressive cover talent. The elite traits and athletic talent will be tantalizing, but the best way to utilize him might be as a full-time 4-3 rush linebacker. That's why I was telling y'all he may have some pass rusher tape. Like, we could actually use him as a pass rusher if we was actually to select him at pick number 29, where he can play more proactively instead of reactively as an off-the-ball linebacker. When we got Jamin Davis, we was expecting him to react and, to read. Like, we ain't need him to do all that. Only thing we needed Jamin Davis to do is rush the pass. I think that if we would have had Jamin Davis just straight trying to attack the quarterback when we first drafted him, he probably would have been well off with the Commanders. He probably would still be on the roster right now. We would have got much, much more production out of Jamin Davis. But we got Jamin Davis, and, the last regime had picked him up, and he was a bust. He was a bust, and he wasn't a bust because, well, it's to be determined why he was a bust. But I'm just saying, we ain't doing no favors in the way we utilize Jamin Davis. So he ain't on the NFL roster right now. So yeah, but I'm just saying, if we were to get Jihad Campbell and we were to bring him in here, we would have to properly use him the right way to actually get what we need out of him. All right, so let's go over some of his strengths. All right, he's a prototypical height, weight, and masculation. He's impressive production and high impact stat column. His pursuit speeds allow sideline to sideline workspace. That means this Bama can run sideline to sideline, and we need a good run stuffer that can run sideline to sideline. Like I told y'all saw what happened with Saquon Barkley when he ran all over us. Okay, we definitely need a run stopping linebacker / DN. We need somebody that can set the edge. You understand what I'm saying? But unfortunately, with every strength of a prospect, there are some weaknesses. So let's go over a few weaknesses. Okay, he lacks instincts and he plays through a straw. He get caught behind blocks and will lose containment. But I just said we need a linebacker that's going to be able to contain. Okay, so if he is going to be if we are going to use him as a run stuffer and an edge setter, he definitely got to get better at that. But you know, all prospects can get better. You know, you just need the right development. That's why I said that pick number 29. He wouldn't necessarily be my pick, but again, this is just Daniel Jeremiah mock draft 2.0 on who the Commanders will pick at 29. All right, so let's take a look at some of his highlights. All right, so let's move right along with my guy, Bucky Brooks. In his mock draft 1.0, he had us taking the offensive guard / offensive tackle, Donovan Jackson, out of Ohio State. See, Dane Jeremiah had us taking Josh Simmons out of Ohio State, and Bucky Brooks had us taking the offensive guard who also could play tackle, Donovan Jackson. Now, if Donovan Jackson was to slide there, it'll be interesting to see if we actually pick him up, depending on the angle that Adam Peters take as far as our number 1 draft pick. Again, this is only who these NFL draft analysts predicts that we will take at pick number 29. All right, so he just recently dropped his mock draft 2.0, and in his mock draft 2.0, he have us taking a playmaker, and that playmaker is wide receiver Matthew Golden out of Texas. Now, we all know that we need a wide receiver, right? It's just a matter of how bad we need a wide receiver. You know, with the rumors going on with Deebo Samuels right now, they saying that we might trade for Deebo Samuels, how we the front runners, us in the Houston Texans. But at the same time, I would much rather draft some young talent. Now, Matthew Golden, I really believe he's going to go in the first round. And with some of these other receivers, I think this draft is deep with wide receivers, day 2 wide receivers, day 3 wide receivers, that can actually give us some value. But Matthew Golden is kind of like different because Matthew Golden, who hit the transfer portal, and he went to Texas. And when he went to Texas, he had a big year this year. He was one of his number one targets. This past season, he had a real big year. So after looking at some of his tape and, you know, follow him over the college season, I would say this guy is special. He is special. Now, pick 29, if they were to pick him, I wouldn't be mad. Again, if I was picking at 29, I probably wouldn't take him right away because I feel like with Jaden Daniels, he can make most receivers look good. And like I said, I feel like this wide receiver draft class, it will be a lot of receivers that go on day 2 and day 3, and you can find you some talent right then and there. But you don't have to, draft a wide receiver early on. You still got the hopes of us trading for DK Metcalf or bringing in other talent such as Deebo Samuels or Cooper Kupp or, any of the other wide receiver free agents out there. Can't forget about T. Higgins, even though they haven't franchise tag him, I do believe he'll be franchise tag. So he kind of like off the table. So let's take a look into his draft overview. All right, so Matthew Golden coming out of Texas, you know what I'm saying? His hometown is Texas, so he was actually able to transfer to his hometown and play some good football for Texas. He 5'11", more like 6 foot, 191 pounds. The boy, he can go. He can go. I feel like he's one of those deep ball catchers. Like Terry McLaurin is great with tracking down the ball and contesting catches and stuff like that. Now, I ain't saying he Terry McLaurin because it's too early to even put Terry McLaurin anywhere near his name. But the kid's got talent. If you go and watch some of his tape, you can see how he tracks down the ball. He got good hands. He runs routes great. You know what I'm saying? He's still a raw player, and there's a lot that he could work on. But him sitting at pick number 29, and if we take him at pick 29, like I said, I wouldn't be mad because it's something that we actually need. However, I would go elsewhere. Hell, I would rather for us to trade that first pick for Myles Garrett and this pick in this year and next year for Myles Garrett. But who's to say Myles Garrett won't just stay with Cleveland? We don't know. It's still early, but this is just who Bucky Brooks think that we're going to take at pick number 29 in his mock draft 2.0. All right, so let's get into his overview right up by Lance Overline. Golden works all 3 levels of the field with similar consistency and productivity. His route running needs refinement, but he does a decent job of altering tempo and separation at break points. That's what you're going to need to actually get separation in the NFL. He say Golden has the ability to play all 3 wide receiver spots. Versatility at its best, okay? We definitely need that. We don't need a guy that's going to be stuck on one side of the field or who can't play in the slot or who can't play boundary. Like, we need a guy that can do it all, and he seems to be that guy. If we were to pick him at pick number 29. He also has good agility and body control to turn near misses into highlight catches. And that's what I've been noticing this season and throughout his highlight. Like, he just seems to be making all the big catches or the highlight catches for some reason. And like I said, Quentin Ewers, I hope I said his name right, that's his go-to guy. He was his go-to guy this year. Now, I know they had Isaiah Bond or whatever, but Matthew Golden was his go-to guy. Trust me. He had 8 touchdowns this year. Yeah. Focus drops still pepper his play, but he's a willing participant in traffic and took command of contested catches with better physicality and catch strength in 2024. Golden starting level traits and big leap forward as a go-to playmaker have him primed to become a productive catch maker with the potential to develop into a wide receiver 1 in the future. What that means is the kid got raw talent. Like I said, all these prospects coming out, they're going to need some work. Unless you picking the top 10, top 5, hell, even sometimes in the top 5, you still got to work on them. All these prospects need work. All right, so let's get into some of his strengths. Meets the moment with big plays and big games. Like I stated to you all, this guy loves big plays. He always around the ball when it comes to making big plays. Adequate linear speed to work past corners on vertical routes. He's a deep ball threat, okay? That's what I'm saying. He knows how to track down the ball if you go the deep route with him, okay? Agile feet allow quicker gather and cut as a route runner. So that means this guy knows how to run his routes, man. He's polished, okay? He's polished. If we were to get him, I wouldn't be mad. All right, so let's, with every prospect that got strengths, it's always a weakness. So let's get into a few of his weaknesses. All right, routes can be too nonchalant and unfocused. Takes foot off the gas if you feel like the route is covered. And we don't need that for real. I hope but that's something easily that could be fixed, but we don't want that. I see everybody gave Chase Young hell because sometimes when Chase Young try to get to the quarterback and he feel like the play over, he done slowed down or what they say gave up on the play. In this instance, if he get with Terry McLaurin would teach him, or our wide receiver staff, like our coaches would teach him. You got to play all the way through the play. Until the whistle is blown, you getting the ball. Believe that. Make the defenders believe that you getting the ball, no matter if you covered or not. You got to keep on playing. All right, pops upright into route breaks, providing coverage and tail. So like I said, every prospect has weaknesses and strengths. So that's just a few of his strengths and a few of his weaknesses. If you want to check more into his draft overview, you can head right on over to NFL.com and check that out yourself. Just type in Lance Zierlein, and you'll be able to see his overview on these prospects. All right, so let's take a look into some of these highlights. The kid balled out last season. Let's take a look at some of it. All right, so that's pretty much it for me. But before you get up out of here, make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Leave a like, drop a comment down at the bottom, and let me know who you think the Commanders are going to pick at pick number 29. I appreciate all the love and support. Help me get to that goal. I appreciate you all. Like I say, Commanders family, left hand up. Who are we? The Commanders.